Everyone, thank you for being here today. Let me ask you something simple but important. Are you better today than you were yesterday? If your answer is yes, good. That means you're moving. If it's no, that's okay too, because the truth is, success is not a one-time event. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a daily commitment, a commitment to small improvements, steady efforts, and minor changes that compound into major results. You don't need a miracle. You need a method. You don't need perfect timing. You need consistent timing. The life you want is not hiding from you. It's waiting for you to show up for it day after day. Today, I want to share with you how to elevate your life by improving a few crucial areas, not in a way that overwhelms you, but in a way that equips you. Think of this like tuning an instrument. One string slightly off can throw the whole sound out of harmony, but with a few careful adjustments, the entire piece sings. Your life works the same way. Adjust a few core areas, the way you think, the way you treat your body, the way you use time, the way you learn, the way you connect with people, the way you practice discipline, and everything starts to resonate. Let's begin where everything begins, your mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world. It determines how you interpret your experiences, how you respond to challenges, how far you're willing to go in the pursuit of your goals. Every day, you're faced with choices that either pull you closer to the life you want or push you further from it. The difference isn't just talent, intelligence, or luck. The difference is how you think about talent, how you interpret intelligence, how you respond to luck, whether it's good or bad. Too many people live under a ceiling they constructed themselves. They say, "That's just who I am," and hand over the steering wheel to a story that stopped serving them years ago. That's a fixed mindset, and it quietly convinces you that effort is pointless, that failure is proof you should quit. But failure is not a verdict, it's data. Failure is a teacher that charges tuition in discomfort and pays dividends in wisdom. With the right mindset, failure becomes feedback. It tells you what to adjust, not who you are. A growth mindset asks a better question. It doesn't say, "Can I do this?" It says, "How can I do this?" It doesn't deny weakness. It diagnoses it. It doesn't obsess over what's missing. It mobilizes what's possible. And just like muscles, your mindset grows by resistance. Every time you challenge a limiting belief, every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you put another plate on the bar, and your inner strength rises to meet it. Where do you start? Start with your self-talk. Notice the words that live rent-free in your head. Would you speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself when you make a mistake? If the answer is no, change the script. Trade "I can't" for "I'm learning." Trade "I always mess up" for "I didn't get it yet." And add gratitude to the mix. Gratitude is a mindset multiplier. It trains your eyes to find the opportunity hidden inside the obstacle, the lesson inside the loss, the gift inside the grind. When you begin the day with what you already have, you move through the day with more power to create what you don't have yet. Now let's talk about the engine that carries your mindset everywhere it needs to go, your health. Health is the silent force behind your clarity, your energy, your resilience. Every thought you think, every decision you make, every emotion you feel is profoundly influenced by the state of your body. You can have the sharpest strategy in the world, but if your body is exhausted, dehydrated, malnourished, or sleep-starved, execution collapses. You don't need to become a fitness model. You need to become a better steward of the only body you'll ever live in. This isn't about extremes. This is about consistency. Choose water over sugary drinks more often than not. Choose a short walk over another hour of mindless scrolling. Choose a real plate of real food over ultra-processed convenience more days than not. These are not dramatic decisions. They're small, repeatable upgrades, and they compound. Movement lifts mood. Movement calms anxiety. Movement primes the brain for focus. You don't have to run a marathon. You can start with 10 minutes. 10 minutes done daily is not small. It is strategic. Food is more than fuel. It's information for your cells. Whole, nutrient-dense foods tell your body to repair, to reduce inflammation, to stabilize your energy. They support your brain, your skin, your hormones, your immune system. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Start by adding something good. a handful of vegetables, a piece of fruit, a lean protein, and reducing something that drags you down. The goal isn't perfection, the goal is momentum. And then there is sleep, not the glamorous topic, but the foundational one. Sleep is the workshop where your brain files memories, your body repairs tissues, your hormones recalibrate, and your willpower refuels. Protect it. Create a simple routine. Dim the lights earlier. Put the phone away. Treat bedtime like an appointment with your future self, because it is. Let's move to the resource that makes every other resource possible. Time. Time is the most valuable currency you have because it cannot be refunded. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. The difference is not how much time we get, but how intentionally we use it. Distraction is the tax we pay when we don't defend our attention. You know how it goes. Just a few minutes turns into an hour. A short break becomes a lost afternoon. And the day disappears into activity that felt busy but went nowhere. If you don't choose your time, something else will. An app, a notification, someone else's agenda. So take back the pen and write your own schedule. This doesn't mean you plan every second. It means you decide what matters before the day decides for you. Spend 5 minutes the night before charting the next day. Identify the 1 or 2 moves that actually move the needle. When the day starts, attack those first. That single habit transforms busy into effective. Also, honor the difference between motion and progress. Motion feels like progress because you're moving, but progress is movement toward something that matters. You can answer emails all day and not build anything that changes your life. You can fill your calendar and empty your purpose. The most successful people don't do the most things, they do the right things, and they do them first. Learn to say no with respect, and yes, with intention. Guard your mornings like a hawk. Put your phone in another room when you need deep work. Build boundaries around your best hours and watch your results multiply. Remember to schedule rest. Rest is not a reward for work. It's a requirement for work. Creativity needs breathing room. Your mind needs stillness. Step away so you can step forward with more power. If you never step back, you eventually break. Now let's talk about the lever that multiplies your value in any environment: skills. Skills are the currency of progress. Unlike talent, which you inherit, skills are earned. You can learn them, refine them, and stack them in ways that make you uniquely valuable. We live in a world that changes fast. New industries emerge, old ones transform, technology evolves daily. Standing still is falling behind. So you invest in the one asset that appreciates with effort: your ability to learn. Be a builder of skills, communication that turns ideas into action, focus that turns effort into excellence, emotional intelligence that turns conflict into collaboration, financial literacy that turns income into freedom, leadership that turns vision into reality. You don't need to master everything today. You need to pick one thing, practice it deliberately, and build a streak you're proud of. The internet has put a global library in your pocket: videos, podcasts, books, courses. The question is not, do I have access? The question is, will I apply what I access? Skill building is not glamorous in the moment. It looks like repetition. It looks like feedback. It looks like showing up when the novelty wears off. But that's where confidence is forged. Not in the highlight, in the habit. Every time you do the reps, you're telling your future self, you can trust me. And that trust becomes a quiet, unshakable power. When new opportunities appear, you're ready. When old doors close, you're adaptable. Skills give you options. Options give you freedom. There's another force that predicts the level of your life with startling accuracy: relationships. You will rise or fall to the level of the people you consistently spend time with. Your environment is not neutral. It is shaping your standards, your expectations, your sense of what's normal. If everyone around you complains, mediocrity feels acceptable. If the people around you stretch, build, and grow, excellence becomes the new baseline. Invest in relationships that invest back in you. This doesn't mean perfect people. It means genuine people. People who tell you the truth kindly. People who celebrate your wins without envy and challenge your excuses without cruelty. And be that kind of person for others. Real connection is built on generosity without a scoreboard. It's built on listening, not to reload, but to understand. When you listen deeply, you make people feel seen. When you show up authentically, you give others permission to do the same. That's how trust grows. That's how teams form. That's how communities change. If a relationship is draining you, set boundaries. You are not required to submit the best years of your life to patterns that keep you small. Create distance without bitterness. Forgive without re-entering a harmful dynamic. Love people, but choose proximity wisely. Your heart is not a public sidewalk. You get to decide who walks there daily. Now we arrive at the quiet power that turns goals into results. Discipline. Motivation launches you. Discipline lands you. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. When the day is inconvenient, when the weather is bad, when your mood is off, discipline keeps the promise you made to yourself on the days you felt inspired. It is the bridge between what you want and what you do. Discipline is not about never failing. It's about returning quickly. It's not about force. It's about structure. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You start with one promise you can keep. Drink water before coffee. Write for 15 minutes before messages. Move your body before you open the world's window into your mind. Keep one promise today, then keep it tomorrow. Those little agreements compound into identity. You go from "I'm trying" to "I am the kind of person who shows up." That identity change is the most powerful transformation there is, because once your actions align with who you believe you are, consistency becomes your default. Don't rely on willpower alone. Design your environment to make the right choice the easy choice. Put your running shoes where you can see them. Put your phone in another room at night. Put the book on your pillow so you have to move it to sleep. Break big goals into small, unskippable steps. The less friction, the more follow through. The more follow through, the more confidence. The more confidence, the bigger the goals you'll dare to pursue. Also, give yourself grace. Discipline without compassion becomes punishment. You will have off days. You will miss a step. The key is not to spiral. The key is to reset, recommit. Remember your why. Your why is the compass in the fog. When circumstances blur your vision, your why points you back to the path. Write it down. Read it when you're tempted to drift. Speak it out loud when excuses arrive dressed as reasonable delays. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who decided he would change his life by running a mile every morning. On the first day, he ran a mile. On the second day, he ran a mile. On the third day, he overslept. It rained and the road was muddy. He almost quit. But he put on his shoes and ran to the end of his street. Not a mile, just the street. The next day, he did the street and a little more. He rebuilt the streak. In a month, he ran farther than he had in years. What changed? Not the weather, not his talent. What changed was his relationship with consistency. He stopped treating discipline like a feeling and started treating it like an agreement. And agreements kept daily change identities. Identities aligned with purpose change destinies. I want you to picture your life 6 months from now if you commit to these core adjustments. Imagine waking up with a mind trained to search for solutions, not problems. Imagine a body that gives you energy instead of stealing it. Imagine days designed, not drifted through. Imagine new skills stacking like bricks, building bridges to places you once called impossible. Imagine relationships that challenge you upward. Imagine discipline so woven into your lifestyle that people say you make it look easy, and you smile because you know it's not easy, it's earned. Here's the truth most people never accept. Ordinary days are where extraordinary lives are built, not in viral moments, not in grand gestures, in the quiet decisions no one sees, decisions your future self will thank you for, decisions that seem small right now, but echo for decades. You don't need to flip your life upside down. You need to flip your priorities right side up. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can today. Make one choice that aligns with the person you're becoming. Drink the water, take the walk, write the page. Watch how that one choice makes the next choice easier. Watch how momentum shows up when excuses sit down. Watch how your identity changes one consistent action at a time. And when you meet resistance, and you will, remember, resistance is not a stop sign. It's a sign you're moving in a meaningful direction. The things that matter will almost always cost you comfort. pay the price. The return on that investment is a life you recognize as your own. Your mind is ready to expand. Your body is ready to serve. Your time is ready to be led, not leaked. Your skills are ready to grow. Your relationships are ready to deepen. Your discipline is ready to turn the key. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a decision, and you need it now. Because success doesn't arrive on a calendar date. It arrives when you're willing to make a better choice today than you made yesterday, and then repeat that decision tomorrow. That's the blueprint. That's the path. That's the promise. So tonight, before you sleep, write a simple sentence that will set your intention for tomorrow. Tomorrow I will do this one thing that moves me forward. Then keep that promise. Let tomorrow prove to you what you're capable of. Let a week stack into a rhythm. Let a month stack into a standard. Let a year stack into a life you once only imagined. And when people ask you what changed, you'll smile, because you'll know the answer is not a secret. It's a sequence. It's the daily decision to show up with a growth mindset, to honor your health, to master your time, to build your skills, to cultivate strong relationships, and to practice relentless, compassionate discipline. This is how you transform not just your results, but yourself. And when you transform yourself, the world around you begins to change in response. Opportunities notice. Respect follows. Doors open that once seemed sealed shut, not because life has suddenly become easy, but because you have become stronger, clearer, more intentional, more you. Now take a breath. Feel the ground under your feet. This is your starting line. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. The life you want is asking a question. Will you show up? And your answer from this moment forward is simple and powerful. Yes, you are capable, you are ready, and you're just getting started. And that simple, daily choice to honor who you're becoming more than who you've been quietly begins to rewrite your story. There's a moment in every journey when the outside world still looks the same, but you are different. You notice it when temptation shows up and you don't negotiate. You feel it when a setback arrives and you don't spiral. You slow your breath, you assess, you adapt. You hear it in your self-talk. Fewer insults, more instructions. That's the point where growth turns into momentum, and momentum begins to compound. Compounding is the invisible force behind every overnight success. A page a day becomes a manuscript. A workout a day becomes an athlete's baseline. A focused hour a day becomes a career transformation. Most people underestimate how quickly their life can change once they start stacking small wins without breaking the chain. They keep stopping and starting, and each restart has a cost. But when you stop quitting, compounding starts working. Let's talk about purpose, because discipline without direction becomes drudgery. Purpose is not always found in a thunderclap. Often it's uncovered in a whisper. It's the intersection of what you're good at, what you care about, and where your effort improves the lives of others. When you anchor your actions to purpose, you don't just move, you mean it. Your choices have context. Your sacrifices have a why. The alarm clock is no longer an enemy. It becomes an invitation. Purpose doesn't eliminate fear. It makes fear worth facing. Fear will try to disguise itself as perfectionism, procrastination, and endless preparation. It will tell you you're not ready yet, when what it really means is, please don't change the status quo. The antidote to fear is not bravado, it's evidence. Evidence that you can take the next step and not break. Evidence that you can be uncomfortable and stay composed. Evidence that you can start before you feel ready and build readiness on the way. Action creates evidence. Evidence builds belief. Belief fuels more action. That loop is how courage becomes a habit. Standards are the rails that keep you on track. Goals are outcomes. Standards are behaviors. A standard says, this is how I show up regardless of mood. When your standards rise, your life rises to meet them. You don't drift into the gym. You're the kind of person who trains. You don't hope to make time. You're the kind of person who protects time. You don't wait for clarity. You create it by writing plans the night before. Standards simplify decision-making because the decision has already been made. Systems turn standards into something you can sustain. A system is a repeatable rhythm that reduces friction. It lives in your environment, your routines, your check-ins, your cues. Put your phone in another room during deep work. Prep simple, repeatable meals on one day so the rest of the week is easier. Keep a visible tracker where you mark an X for each day you keep a promise. Set if-then triggers that predecide your response. If stress spikes, then you take 10 slow breaths and walk for 5 minutes. If you miss a morning session, then you reschedule a shorter one at lunch, non-negotiable. Systems keep your progress from depending on your best day. I want you to imagine a morning in the near future. Before the sun has fully climbed, you're awake, not scrolling, but starting. You sit in quiet for a moment, inhale for 4, exhale for 6, and feel your nervous system settle. You move your body, not to punish it, but to prime it. You open a notebook and write 3 lines. What you're grateful for, what you'll focus on, and how you'll know you succeeded today. You choose the most important task and begin before anyone can lay claim to your attention. By the time the world knocks on your door, you've already given your best to what matters most. That morning is not glamorous, but it is sovereign. It declares, I lead my day. And in the evening, you close the loop. You review without judgment. What worked, what didn't, what will you change tomorrow? You write a single sentence to your future self, clear, kind, directive. You power down the screens, dim the lights, and let sleep do its sacred work. This is not a routine for perfect people. This is a rhythm for people who are serious about growth. Let's address setbacks. They will visit, plans will break, people will disappoint. You'll make mistakes, sometimes loudly. What separates those who rise from those who stall is not luck, it's response. When something goes wrong, shorten the time between event and adjustment. Replace why me with what now. Replace blame with responsibility. Responsibility doesn't mean it's your fault, it means it's your move. That shift puts your hands back on the wheel. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is from intensity to consistency. Intensity is seductive. It feels heroic to go all in for a week, but consistency is where the miracles hide. It's less dramatic, more durable, and far more transformative. Think of your progress like turning a ship 1 degree. 1 degree is barely visible today, but hold that heading, and in a month you're in new waters. In a year, you're in a new world. There will be days you don't feel like it. You'll have storms of distraction, fatigue, boredom. Here is a tool that keeps you moving. Lower the activation energy. Make the first step absurdly small. Read 1 paragraph, do 5 push-ups. Write for 5 minutes. Often that tiny start slips you past the resistance and into the flow. And if it doesn't, you still kept the promise. You kept the identity intact. That matters. Guard your inputs, the content you consume, the conversations you entertain, the rooms you walk into. These are not neutral. Curate an environment that feeds your focus. Replace doom scrolling with deliberate learning. Replace gossip with grateful conversations. Replace cluttered spaces with clean cues that point you toward your priorities. Your brain is a prediction machine. Give it better data. Financial discipline belongs here too, because money is a magnifier. It amplifies your habits, good or bad. Learn to tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Align spending with values. Invest in skills before status, experiences before excess, tools before toys. Freedom is not about buying everything. It's about needing less than you earn so you can choose how you spend your days. Generosity will surprise you with its power. When you give your time, attention, resources, you shift from scarcity to sufficiency. You prove to your nervous system that you have enough to share, and that creates a posture of confidence. Paradoxically, generosity often opens doors that grinding alone cannot. People remember how you made them feel. They remember that you listened, that you helped, that you showed up. Opportunity likes to travel along those invisible bridges. Leadership begins the moment you take ownership of your circle of influence, starting with yourself. Lead your thoughts, lead your energy, lead your calendar, then lead where you work, where you live, where you serve. Leadership is not a title. It's a pattern of behavior that lifts standards and raises sights. The world does not need more critics. It needs more builders. Be the person who builds. When self-doubt whispers, answer it with receipts. Write down the promises you kept this week. Write down the workouts completed, the pages written, the lessons learned, the conversations had, the risks taken. Keep a proof journal so your brain has hard evidence to counter old narratives. You are not who you were last year. You are not even who you were last month. You are a living process, and that process is trending upward. Let's zoom back to the 6 core areas we elevated earlier: mindset, health, time, skills, relationships, discipline, and weave them into a single daily protocol that's simple enough to do and strong enough to change you. Morning, center your mind, move your body, pick your needle mover, start. Daytime, protect deep work blocks, practice your craft deliberately, nourish with real food, commit to one courageous conversation. Evening, review, adjust, express gratitude, set tomorrow's intention, guard your sleep. That's it. Not flashy, not complicated, effective. In 90 days of this rhythm, you will not recognize the way you think. Your standards will be higher, your boundaries will be clearer, your energy will be steadier. In 6 months, people will ask what your secret is, and you'll tell them the truth. There is no secret, only a sequence executed with heart and honesty. In a year, you'll be carrying a quiet confidence that cannot be faked because it isn't a performance. It's a pattern. You will not feel motivated every day. Good, you don't need to. You need to be willing every day. Willing to take the next step, willing to recover quickly, willing to ask for help when you're out of your depth, willing to be a beginner again and again. Humility is the doorway to mastery. Masters are not people who never fail. They're people who never stop returning to the fundamentals with full attention. If you're waiting for perfect conditions, you'll wait forever. Perfection is a moving target. Good enough to begin is the standard that builds empires. Start where you stand. Use what's at hand. Answer the moment in front of you with your best effort, then keep going. You're not behind. You're exactly on time for the next right choice. When discouragement comes, and it will, remember that results lag behind right behavior. You plant today, you water this week, you see shoots next month, you harvest next season. Trust the lag. Respect the lag. Don't dig up seeds to check if they're growing. Keep tending. Keep showing up. The harvest is not optional when the tending is consistent. Hold yourself to a standard of gentle ruthlessness, gentle with your humanity, ruthless with your excuses. You are allowed to rest. You are not allowed to surrender your future to temporary feelings. You are allowed to recalibrate. You're not allowed to abandon your values because the day was inconvenient. You are allowed to be proud of progress that no one else sees because you know what it cost and who it's turning you into. And here is the promise worth writing down. If you commit to daily growth in these core areas, you will wake up one day in a life that answers a longing you've carried for years. It won't be an accident. It will be the natural consequence of alignment, thoughts aligned with truth, actions aligned with priorities, relationships aligned with your future, time aligned with purpose, discipline aligned with love for the person you are becoming. So let this be the moment you move from intention to implementation. Choose the next small action. Make the call. Open the book. Lace the shoes. Block the time. Have the conversation. Put your attention where your future is waiting. The world does not need a louder version of who you were. It needs a truer version of who you are. And when you lay your head down tonight, I want you to feel a quiet pride, not because the world applauded, but because you honored your word. That is the beginning of a new kind of confidence, the kind that doesn't shout, the kind that doesn't need permission, the kind that breathes calmly even when the stakes are high, the kind that changes rooms without raising its voice. You don't have to chase significance. Live with integrity and let significance find you. You don't have to beg for doors to open. Build the skills, carry the character, and knock like someone who belongs in the room. You don't have to prove your worth. You are already worthy. Now act like it, patiently, persistently, courageously. This is your reminder and your invitation. You are closer than you think, stronger than you feel, and readier than you realize. Keep your promises today. Keep them again tomorrow. String those days together until the person you used to be is cheering for the person you've become. The life you want isn't waiting at the finish line. It's waiting in the next faithful step. Take it, and then take the next one, because you are capable, you are ready, and you're still, always, just getting started.